Hi, I'm Robert, and this is my implementation plan for the game library system application. The game library system will be a database of game objects with the name of the game, the director of the game, the release date, the genre, original price, and current price. Uh, There will be functions for removing a game from the list, printing the list, adding manually, reading from a file, searching for a game, editing that game data, uh, adding a discount to the current price to keep track of the current discounts going on. Uh, the program will be written in Java and it will run locally completely. Uh, there will be implementation with SQLite as well. For the main class of this project, uh, it's mainly going to just pass along to uh, other classes. So it's just going to set up the database uh, and then pass it on to our input handler. So it's not going to be doing much. For the input handler class, this one acts as a medium between the UI and the rest of the functions that actually affect the database. Um, so it calls upon all of these functions within the game list class. The game list class will keep track of the game objects, especially for the beginning of this project. It's going to be important so that way we can establish a linked list and keep track of all the entries. So there's going to be three main menus. That's going to be the add menu, the main menu, and the search menu. From there, each one is going to lead into certain functions or methods within the game list class. And then, of course, there's the game object class. That's just going to keep the values for each game entry. The visibility is going to be important for the input handler class. The rest of them are going to be package private. So that way we don't have to worry about other functions, other packages affecting those functions or those methods. But for the input handler class, it's going to be communicating back and forth with the GUI. That's going to be its own package. So I want to keep that public, at least for now. This is the overall view of the entire UML. It's going to show how each method interacts with each other between classes. I just wanted to have a more detailed view into how I want to plan out these methods and how they're going to communicate with each other. This is going to be using a model view controller architecture. Like I was saying, that input handler class is going to be acting between the view class of that GUI. The GUI is where the user is able to see what's going on. That passes on to the input handler, which goes to the game list, and then that's what actually touches the database. So this is just a diagram to show how each layer of this project is going to be communicating with each other. I have the user interface. That's going to be where the input handler, it's going to be working between there. The logic layer, that's going to be more the game list area. And then the database layer, that's of course going to be the linked list. for now. So the project's going to start out using command line for the user interface. That's going to ensure that we have all the functionality and the database is working correctly. The game entries have all the information that they need. All the functions are able to communicate, and that there's not going to be any major errors. After that, we're going to move on to a graphical user interface. For that, I'm going to be using Java Swing, just because it's built into Java. This one is not a very complex project, so I think that it'll do fine, even though, of course, Swing is more manual. So there's going to be three main classes: the game object, game list, and input handler. The methods are going to be non-static, so a lot of these are going to be within the game list, where the linked list is able to be kept track of. Part of that is so that we don't need to call a reference to the game list for every single function, because it's going to be embedded into it at runtime. So I try to keep methods that related to a certain class within that class. So, for example, removal of a game object, that's going to look through the game list and then take it out of the game list. That's mainly what it does, so it should be in the game list class. The input handler is going to have public access, of course, so that way it can communicate with the GUI package later. So first, we're going to be using a linked list for the database. That's going to keep all the information in the RAM and then just edit it from there. That's going to make sure that all the functionality is working, all the methods, there's not going to be any conflicts, no errors. After we implement the GUI, we're going to switch out the database for an SQLite database. That's going to require reworking of pretty much all the methods that go between the interface and the database, because SQLite has their own functionality for each one of these. So we can't just drag and drop it in. It's going to need reworking of that linked list, but it's going to be pretty much taking over that job.